So I don't know if you noticed, in last video I actually filmed it completely in reverse. All of the scenes that you saw, me launching kayak and getting in the water and out of the water, they were actually filmed backwards. And the reason for that is because I had a technical issue with my knee brace. By the time I actually unloaded my boat on my knee brace, I mean, it was so hot that the pads on my knee brace were falling off. Apparently they're glued in there, so for $1,000 knee brace, apparently it's no match for Florida's heat. So, but nevertheless, we got through that scene. Have to be a little bit more careful with how I deal with this Florida sun and everything. Thankfully today is one of those overcast days, and once again I'm out on location. This is again privately owned fishing grounds, not mine obviously, but have a membership for it. The benefits of coming out to places like this is that there's really nothing out here. You know, there's no boat traffic, there's no you know, there's just no people at all, which means that you could have the wildlife and nature all to yourself, you know, for relaxing and just unwinding and thinking about stuff and things. And I get to go off-roading a little bit, actually putting my truck to use. By the way, if you're planning to buy a truck in your lifetime, you know, there's a lot of people that get a truck and they're like, oh, I'll never need 4x4. Trust me when I tell you, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. There's plenty of people who got themselves into a bit of a bind where, you know, they already have a car, but theirs is not 4x4. And so once they get themselves into situations like this, that's when it gets really interesting. And it looks like I got some people that will be here. This guy doesn't have, I'm guessing he is fishing off a bank. But yeah, if you have a 4x4, I mean, it just opens up so many opportunities. Could be having all sorts of fun. And all the standing water that you see, we've been having nasty rains the last week. And that's one of the reasons why you do need a 4x4. Here's a good indication of what's been happening. It's been raining so hard it just washes everything out, especially on slopes. So I'm guessing if you back yourself in here, you could launch. And there's a creek over there. With high flow, actually, normally easy way to spot high flow creeks is if you see a clear bottom like that, it means current is fairly strong. Getting all the gunk out of there. So I'm guessing if I backed into here and launched, or something along those lines. Well, we'll see. Alright, let me look at the map again, because it's getting kind of confusing. Don't want to be launching at the wrong spot. Another thing with respect to buying vehicles and owning boats and things like this, do get yourself one with a, here, let me show you. do get yourself one with a backup camera, because it makes things a world of a lot easier. You see that? You could just look at the camera, look at the mirror over there as you're backing out. Now there's the turn. See, I turned left where I should have went straight. Wow. Just wow, really beautiful. And you know, this is exactly why I come out to places like this. I mean, look at it. Where else are you gonna see stuff like that? Just look how cool that is. So peaceful. Absolutely gorgeous. And there's the other part of the lake. Apparently this one and that one are somehow connected up north. So we're gonna investigate. There we go. Camera back in there. Okay, so this is one of the ramps that we're talking about. That's to, you could launch here as well to get into, oh I see, to those two lakes. And there's the second boat ramp right over here. Oh, so there is no connection. Interesting. Okay, well we'll come back to this place. But apparently, at least according to the map, there is a boat ramp up ahead that connects. Oh, it's actually 3 lakes. You know what? I better stop looking at that map. Whoever drew it. Well, I mean, I'm thankful for the map. It's just the map isn't accurate enough to reflect field conditions, if you know what I'm saying. How cool is this? You know, people come to like state parks and things, and you know, all they see is pavement, and wow, oh, that is truly beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if camera is picking this up. Really cool. All right. We're here. That's the place I wanted to visit. Wonderful. So after launching my kayak last time, I've learned a lot of lessons on kayak launching. I repositioned my kayak in a different spot on this side rather than where the PVC is. Believe it or not, having PVC pipes, they're actually for the pedal oars. It was reducing the amount of kayak real estate, which is why I moved it up here, which makes it loading and unloading a little bit easier. There's a rope attached, just like I had last time, so that when I launch over there, it doesn't just float off. I've learned that from boaters. And another issue that I had was when I got into the water, because of the, this is obviously not a well-designed ramp. You could still launch things off of it, just not in the same manner. So the kayak was actually hitting that. So that had to be rectified. So nevertheless, this is what I was talking about. How cool is this? This is as wild as it gets. And so apparently the lakes that we've seen before, they connect right through this weird looking channel. You know, I don't want to get too close to the water. This is a prime habitat for American alligators. Alright, the next phase is to unhook everything and launch in the water. And that's the lake that we'll be going into. There's a lake there and another lake there. So, cool beans. That's right, this ramp is clearly not designed for trailers. So this is where I'm gonna stop. Alright, so the goal is to push this forward, hopefully without kayak falling off or anything. And then, assuming I've designed this thing properly, it should just... I said it should, I didn't say it will. I don't know. Okay. This is almost hilarious. This is the... You know, I meant this video as a kayak launch success, but apparently it's happening as a kayak launch fail number 2. There we go. Well, at least it didn't go anywhere, so I'll take that as a victory. Now, obviously, there's a reason why I'm doing all this stuff. It's because after the injuries, can't exactly be chugging the kayak all the time. So, it's one of the reasons why all of this exists in the first place. But hey, at least this time it went into the water a lot easier than I thought it would. So I'll take that as a success. So let me go ahead and park and hopefully get in the water pretty soon. Believe it or not, they said there was going to be no rain. Look at this. How am I supposed to plan with all the nonsense? Hey, we got our first alligator, and a big one too. Look at that guy. Sitting there. Big boy. And the fact that he's not moving is actually quite concerning, because obviously he's not afraid. And this is a clear example of the fact that alligators are really not afraid of people. And I keep telling it to you guys. Look at that. No fear at all. He is like, I am the... This is a big one too. You know, this tripod thing that I designed, it's actually working quite well. It's quite stable, surprisingly. I thought it might be a bit on the wobbly side, but hey, it's like this is me shaking it. So if you don't shake it, it's not really going anywhere. And I guess if I really wanted to, I could retrofit some sort of doohickey to further secure it, like to a chair or something like that. But it does the job. The best thing about it is it actually clears up a lot of space between my legs, ironically, because the tripod protrudes outward. So this actually allows me to not have to bow my knees as I'm paddling. Now, the alligator that we just saw, one of the reasons why he is in a place like this is obviously seclusion. The more secluded the area, the more likelihood you're gonna see big alligators. But more importantly, I'm looking at the quality of the water. And this is the sort of prime swampy type. Alligators are generally lazy. They really don't want to be exerting themselves, and so this is a perfect opportunity for him to sort of be in the swamp, but not really. That way he could come in and out of the water, cool himself off if he really wanted to. Still go for a swim. You know, I don't think he really cares about the clarity of the water too much. So I guess in addition to learning my birds, I'm gonna have to brush up on the plant species. There's a lot of stuff in here that's planted that I really have no idea what it's called, which is quite unfortunate because it looks really beautiful. Let me show you. Look at that. This, in the layman's terms, is the stuff that you could probably buy in a place like Lowe's. I don't know what it's called, but it is everywhere. And because it's sort of like all on the periphery of this water body, it just kind of makes it for you very feng shui feeling, if you know what I'm saying. You know, I have to admit, considering that I've never been in this place before, the feeling of not knowing actually makes it a lot more exciting, because you really don't know where to look for things, so you're spending a lot more time turning your head, goosenecking and everything. In a lot of aspects, I actually find it quite comforting because it gives me a sense of adventure, if you please. There's all sorts of little nooks and crevices, and look at that. Like little places like this, where you sort of want to look and maybe find something you haven't seen before. Fancy little bird. They're actually found in abundance in a place like this. They like to push themselves up on all of this vegetation. They sort of look like, I'm not sure what they're called, but they sort of look like a crow with orange blobs on their wings. But yeah, as I was saying, weather changes so drastically in Florida that just within the scope of about 20 minutes, it goes from probably 80 to about 96. And I know that for a fact because I'm already sweating profusely, rather. But hey, that's what keeps it exciting in a place like this. And I actually have an umbrella in the front of my kayak. I'm thinking of, yeah, I'm still dealing with this Bimini nonsense. Experimenting without having, you know, I'm almost compelled to just buy an actual Bimini at this point. But I'm a cheapskate with that respect, so I'm trying cheaper options first. And just like that, in the span of me changing a GoPro battery, look at that. Literally 5 minutes ago, all of this was blue sky. How crazy is this? Just absolutely weird. 5 minutes, that's all it took. And off in the background over there, behind that bend, there's a nasty thunderstorm. But I'm stubborn, so I'm just gonna continue. I I will be taking a rather giant leap of faith by assuming that the lakes connect. I looked on the maps and it looked like they connected, so hopefully they do, because if not, I'm gonna have to do some backing up. The channel isn't wide enough for me to just flat out make a turn in there. Okay, Mr. Alligator is still here, although this time, because it got hot, he actually is in the water. Hello there, Mr. Alligator. And you know, remarkable thing, and I keep like talking about it over and over. Right there, he's gone. There's like a 9 or 10 foot alligator right there. You would never know. You know, the nature is so incredible with that respect that it allows the apex predator to camouflage themselves like that. I mean, alligators, if you think about it, right, they're not, you know, active predators. They're not, you know, they're opportunistic predators, and that's a huge difference in strategy. You know, unlike a lion, they don't actually go hunting for buffalo. They just sit there and wait and wait. And you know, all the incredible videos that you see from National Geographic in those places is, you know, well, in those cases, crocodiles, they could wait there for like a year just in one place until the zebras cross. Oh, huh. Well, it's a bit of a issue. Couldn't see it from the other angle. There is no way to cross between the lakes. It looks like I'm gonna have to load up and move.